Today, we're spending time with a department that's already submitted over $50 million in reimbursement for Hurricane Helene. You've probably guessed it, it's the Emergency Management Agency. Join me as we learn more about what they do on a daily basis, year-round, even outside of an emergency event. So let's go inside and spend a little bit of time with the EMA director. Joining me today is EMA Director Shawn Granato, and we're going to talk about the preparation that goes into planning for emergency situations, but also things that could happen on an average day. In addition, we're going to do an overview of Hurricane Helene and the aftermath of an event like that. So Shawn, if you would, talk to us about what you do year-round. It's so much with education, outreach, and planning that happens before any type of an event. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. I mean, you kind of said it all. Those are our big pillars that we have here. Outreach, education. Those are big things that we're constantly trying to get not only to the general public, but to all of our employees, right? We have a few different programs that we use to try to get folks in the doors to kind of help themselves and help learn the different things that you need at your house to be able to prepare for those 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 days in order to make sure that you don't have to add yourself to the emergency, that you don't have to scramble around for something. What we like to say in EMA is that we have normal operations during emergency situations. We don't want to change how they operate from normal business, because as soon as you do that, you throw those extra unknowns and the uncertainty and, oh, we got to do something different. Nobody has to do anything different.
So you talked about getting people in the door. You've started doing things like open houses, and you do your EMA Preparedness Day. So can you kind of expand on that a little bit with what the public could participate in?
Sure. What I wanted to show everybody in the very beginning is that the Public Safety and Preparedness Day for us is to show one team, one effort. We can't be successful unless everybody's together. And, you know, when we talked about that idea and, you know, the sheriff mentioned, yes, I want kids climbing in those cars, and you have all the fire rescue folks out there with 15 different vehicles and apparatus, and they're climbing around and, you know, using the burn house and so many different things. But it's not just that, because like I said earlier, there are so many different moving pieces to responding to emergency. We have stormwater, parks and recreation, roads and bridges, 311. So there are so many different pieces that go towards an emergency. We want people to see all of those different pieces come together.
Right, and you've done videos, outreach opportunities where you teach people how to make a ready kit. Yep. You talk about the 3-day plan, having a car ready kit. Are there opportunities, or if someone wants to know more about that, how would they learn more?
We started this new Community Awareness and Preparedness Program, CAP. We've had our first class. We were supposed to have one in October and have another one in March. Well, we kind of had to put those on standby for a little bit just because of everything that's going on. We do storm spotter classes, you know, where people can help reach out to the National Weather Service. Like you said, there's pack-a-bag classes.
And everyone is familiar with Hurricane Helene and the impact it had on the county, being without power, some people over 2 weeks. We're still picking up debris in the final pass, but can you speak to that part of it and how this room that we're in now, the Emergency Operations Center, just turns into a hub? And it's like you said, you do your normal operations that you're always used to doing, but you're doing it in a situation that brings unprecedented.
It is. It just, everybody in here has a deliberate piece, and you know, everybody's sitting all across the room. It's because we need to be able to look at, you know, in each other's eyes and trust that everybody knows what's going on. Everybody is in here trying to focus on one common goal, and Georgia Power was in here, Jefferson Electric was in here, communications were in here. Everybody is trying to work for the citizens, but we have to make sure that we have a handle on everything. It's all about communication. And you can't communicate any better than in person.
So there's so much paperwork that's involved. There's reporting, there's turning everything in. So can you speak to what you have to do even after the event?
Yeah, you know, this is where we take every work order, every hour of personnel, every piece of equipment, every material, every receipt, everything that we did, we have to put it all together because FEMA does an audit of everything that we've done. So in order to get reimbursed, FEMA's job is to audit us. It's our job to make sure that when they look, they don't find anything incorrect. Everything that we did, the debris removal, all the emergency protective measures, all the different buildings, all the different, just everything. Columbia County EMA is going to be doing this paperwork for probably another year.
Mm-hmm. And you're a small but mighty team. I mean, there's only 3 of you. So can you tell us a little bit about the other members of EMA and maybe what they're responsible for or what they support?
It's one team, one fight right now. You know, Bill Botham, he was is our outreach person, and he's supposed to be doing all those events, and we're starting to get back into that a little bit. We're still having the fair in May and starting to do that. Susie, I don't know what we would do without Susie, and actually Susie is the master of the receipts, the invoices, making sure that everybody gets paid, making sure that it comes out of the line code so we can keep track of this so we can wrap it in a bow and give it to FEMA.
Right, but I also want to hone in on the fact that anytime something comes up, now it could be a severe thunderstorm, it could be a wind advisory where we have high winds expected into the night. It could be an ice storm, a snow day, the hurricane. You constantly get the question, what is EMA doing to prepare? And I think it's very important that people understand it's all the things that we do on a daily basis that keep us in that state of readiness.
It is.
And so speak to that.
Sure. When they're asked that question, my response is Columbia County maintains a perpetual state of readiness.
Right.
Because we do. That's the same line that I give all the time. The one thing that makes me wonder is that a lot of the instances that we have here, a lot of the emergencies are weather related. Therefore, most of the time we get a little bit of warning. I mean, hurricanes we have 5, 6 days, 7 days. Snow we know a couple days ahead of time. Thunderstorms, not so much, but you really can expect one every afternoon, throughout the summer. I'm very afraid of what happens when we have an earthquake that's unexpected. How do we exercise this? How do we practice this to try to respond to that? But also, we're not a first responder. We work closely with them, but how do we mitigate those types of things? How do we do grants for different types of equipment for the fire rescue, for the hazmat team, for the sheriff's office. It's just all about being aware of what potentially could happen and communicating with everybody.
Well, to wrap it up, if we have anyone that may be interested in learning more about your outreach programs, the open houses, the preparedness day, how would they go about contacting you?
I think everybody should reach out via email. It's the easiest way because it contacts all of us. It also contacts 311. It's emergency management at columbiacountyga.gov. I want people to come in here to see what we do. I want to have these open houses to get people to ask the questions and see what happens before, during, and after. It's a big deal to us, so that's why we like to have it.
Well, it's a team effort, and I know it's multiple departments coming together to make sure that we continue to provide the services that our residents expect, but your team has been phenomenal. So thank you for all that you do, and Bill and Susie, and for what you continue to do to bring us back to what we're used to. Until next time, we'll see you then.